You taste the meal before the king does. That's your job. Not because you're powerful, but because you're expendable. You lift the spoon knowing that if something is wrong, your body will discover it first. And as strange as it sounds, that quiet moment before you swallow feels familiar. Because in your own life, you're often the one who absorbs the risk, the discomfort, the emotional poison, so others can feel safe. Being a medieval food taster wasn't about luxury. It was about vigilance. You lived with the constant awareness that danger could hide in beauty, that something carefully prepared could still harm. That kind of life changes a person. Psychologically, it wires you to anticipate threat everywhere. Neuroscience calls this hypervigilance. You call it being careful. You call it caring. People who care too much often live like this, tasting emotional environments before anyone else. You enter rooms and immediately sense the tension. You notice when someone's tone is off, when a silence carries weight. Your nervous system samples the air for danger long before words are spoken. And just like the food taster, you rarely get thanked for preventing a disaster that never happened. In the medieval court, the food taster stood close to power but never held it. You were near the throne, but never safe. That's how overcaring works in modern life. You are trusted with responsibility, secrets, emotional labor. You are relied upon, but you are also replaceable. If something goes wrong, you're the first to be blamed. If everything goes right, you disappear into the background. Psychology explains this pattern through attachment and learned roles. Many people who care too much learned early that their value came from being useful, from protecting others from pain. Maybe you learned to read moods to avoid conflict. Maybe love felt conditional, tied to how well you managed other people's emotions. Your brain adapted beautifully to survive. But survival isn't the same as peace. There's a quiet fear that follows you, not always conscious, but present. A sense that if you stop paying attention, something bad will happen. That if you relax, someone will get hurt. The medieval food taster didn't get to enjoy the feast. Neither do you. You're too busy monitoring, adjusting, sacrificing your own hunger so others can eat comfortably. The unhealthy side of caring too much shows up here. You become the buffer, the filter. You take in what's toxic so others don't have to. You swallow resentment, disappointment, exhaustion, telling yourself it's fine. Over time, your body keeps the score. Chronic stress, burnout, emotional numbness. The nervous system wasn't designed to be on guard forever, and yet there's something deeply noble in this role. The food taster existed because trust mattered, because life mattered. Your empathy is the same. You protect what's human in a world that often moves too fast to notice. Behavioral science shows that highly empathetic people strengthen social bonds, reduce conflict, and increase collective safety. You are not weak. You are carrying a responsibility others avoid, but here's the truth history rarely tells. Many food tasters died young, not just from poison, but from the constant strain, from living in a state of suspended fear, from never being allowed to say no. Caring too much can quietly shorten your emotional life if you're not careful. You were never meant to be the only line of defense. You were never meant to carry everyone's safety alone. Boundaries are not selfish. They are survival. Neuroscience shows that when you share responsibility, when you allow others to face consequences, your brain can finally rest. Trust can become mutual instead of one-sided. There's a moment in every food taster's life where they realize something painful. The king will always eat after them. The risk will never be equal. In your life, that realization might come when you notice how often you show up for others who disappear when you need them, or how quickly your pain is minimized because you're strong. Caring too much doesn't mean you should stop caring. It means you need to stop tasting everything. Not every dish is yours to sample. Not every emotional meal is yours to swallow. You're allowed to say, "This isn't safe for me." You're allowed to step back from the table. The healthy side of caring is discernment. Choosing where your empathy goes. Letting others experience discomfort so they can grow. Trusting that the world won't collapse if you rest. This isn't abandonment. It's balance. If you've lived your life as the emotional food taster, constantly checking if it's safe for everyone else, this is your permission to sit down, to eat for yourself, to notice your own hunger. You don't have to prove your worth by risking your well-being. So as the candles burn low and the feast continues, ask yourself gently, what would change if you stopped being the first to taste? If you trusted that your life is just as valuable as the people you protect? And if this story feels like it's been whispering your name, maybe tonight is the night you finally choose to savor something for yourself.